Are you ready to take your organization to the next level and become a game changer in your industry? Then look no further. Welcome to Yokai Business Show, where we bring you the world's top business thought leaders to share their secrets to success, from leadership development to finance, marketing, self-development, human resource management, and much, much more. Our guests reveal the strategies, tactics, and mindsets that have made them so successful. So let's dive in and learn from the best in the business. Awesome. Welcome back to another very special episode here on Yokai Business Show. We are so delighted that you would take time to listen to the conversations we are having here. And as always, today is no different. We bring you some of the finest business owners, experts, consultants, and coaches on the show so that they can help you move your business from where it is to where you want to be. In fact, my guest today is going to share with you what is actually working today. Not what used to work 5 years ago, 3 years ago, or even 2 years ago, but what is working today. In fact, that's one of the beauty of these episodes, is because we are constantly looking for amazing people that are making huge headway in the world of business, helping people do what they want to do and doing it in style. And today is no different. My guest is going to share with you exactly the step-by-step process of achieving what you want to achieve today. Now, before I introduce our guest here, can I remind you to make sure you are participating in the community. There is a link below this recording here where you will be able to join if you are not yet part of the community, or if you are part of the community, you'll be redirected so you can join and join the conversation that is going. Remember, these conversations, they may be simple, they may lead to a different end goal. In fact, they could change the whole trajectory of your business or even your life. So I highly, highly encourage you to be part of the community. Let's come back to our guest. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're so delighted. I know how busy your schedule is, but for you to take time out of your schedule and be generous with your knowledge, it truly is an honor of mine. Thanks again for joining us here. Now, to get us started, for those who don't know you, or maybe haven't come across the work that you do, would you tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your background, your education, and your experience in this area? Primarily, some of the things that you have done for other people, like business owners in our community. And maybe while you're at it, you could talk about whether you have been an overnight success. I say that with a tongue in cheek because I know there isn't anything of overnight success. If you haven't, what sort of things you've had to do to become an expert in this area.
Hello, everyone. This is Deirdre Neal. I'm glad to be here today and glad to get to know you as you get to know me. I sort of giggled when he said about overnight success. That's a little bit funny. It was not an overnight success. It was definitely a long time before I got into what I'm doing now. I started working for the government as a youth through a school program. And as I graduated from high school, they actually hired me on permanently. They knew I had a desire to go to college. So we sort of like made a deal. Do college and they help pay and I pay. But towards the end, it was all about me paying, which I wanted to do because I needed to get my education. And so as I was working with the government and getting my education, I started going up in the ranks because the school helped me a bit. I shouldn't say it was the whole thing because working with the government, you had to have a different kind of smarts. And I'm not saying that just school smarts doesn't work, but a lot of things that I saw in the government actually came from street training. I'll say it like that because the neighborhood I grew up in, I saw a lot of things. And so it helped me to regulate my thoughts and my actions to work for the government. And so that's how I got it started working for the government. And then my training and education. They trained me on the job, but then I had my education. And it was really fun, actually. It was tough, but it was really fun. But the tough part was knowing that I was working for an organization that was really male dominated. So that was really tough on me. But I really enjoyed learning and learning about people. And so as time went on, I just went through the ranks of a lot of jobs working for the government. I worked myself up. I still laugh about one of the lady friends that I had at the job. When I went on, she was my boss. And when she retired, I was her boss. So that we still laugh about that. So it was not an overnight success, but I really enjoyed everything. I really enjoyed working for the government. And as I retired from the government after a 34-year tenure, I started thinking about what am I going to do, because there was still a lot of life in me, and there still is. And so my husband was working with gangs. And so I decided that, seeing everything that worked in the courtroom, that I wanted to do something to help these people, because they were my community and they were my husband's community. And I saw a lot of parents that were just lost, young people having babies, and I had already, started having my children, and just seeing what I would do and what I wouldn't do, and just seeing, people's children coming to the court that I knew in the neighborhood, and I wanted to help them and help them thrive to be better parents. That was what it was all about. So after going out with my husband after I retired on gangs and homicides with the police bureau, I decided to come up with a program, and it's called greenlightyouth.com. And we're about helping parents thrive in being in parents, and help them to help their children learn differently, get that love connection, growing love with one another, and helping one another to see that parenting, yes, it's tough. You got to be a parent, but it's not hard if you have a partnership with your children. They know that you're still the parents. You still got to guide them and direct them, but you still want them to be able to trust you. And so growing love and that connection, it's a beautiful thing. And so just taking your children out to experience things. You don't have to pay for a lot of things that's going on in your neighborhoods. Just teaching them things that they're not going to get in the school system. And I just believe that is just an answer to a lot of things in this life, just growing that connection, growing good children, respectful children. I just believe in that so much, because I know I had that relationship with my parents. Sometimes we would sit on the porch and just talk. They would show me things, and just like now, if you go out with your children, you go out your front door, you ask them what direction you're going, north, east, south, or west. They don't know, because they're not taught that in school. My parents were really adamant about me knowing which direction I was going, and how to get home, and where the sun set, where the sun rose, just different things like that nature of things, just going outside, knowing what trees were what trees, and working with animals. It was just so much. And kids are not having that connection anymore. And I really would love that to be back in their lives. And I'm just adamant about it. And I think that growing young children to be respectful and good children, you'll get good adults. And so that's what Greenlight Youth is all about. It took me a long time to get to this point in my life, because I was working and raising my own children. But then when I retired, it was like I got so much more to give, and I want to give and make it productive and make it be effective for not just myself and my grandchildren, but my husband and all of us included. It takes a lot of people to raise your children. And so you want to have the right people in their lives. You want to have the right directions in their lives. And you just want to make sure that love is just the key. And so that's what this is all about, greenlightyouth.com.
That's brilliant, and thanks for covering that. Now we want to dive deep into talking about the very first step that business owners, those that may be starting from scratch, or those who are looking to reinvent themselves, ought to take to ensure success. And maybe we could talk about the best way for them to take these steps, and if there are any tools or apps they can use to make this very first step easier moving forward. And if we have got enough time, maybe we could just cover a little bit about what they can do to get unstuck in the event that they got stuck on this very first step.
The first step, beginning steps, I would say, of being a business owner is just sitting down with yourself and deciding what is it that you're good at that won't feel like a job. What is it that you like? For me, it was directing children and helping parents, but for others, it might be something else. And so I had to really sit down with myself and just think about what I really wanted to do and write it down. Don't feel ashamed about writing stuff down. Journaling is good. So after I did that, my first step was to research. I started to research, what does it take to own a business? What is it going to cost me? How am I going to get from point A to point B? And do I need help? And the answer to all that is yes, yes, and yes, and yes. You need help. The first step is just researching it, finding what steps that you're going to take. Because I went through branding, I just asked questions and I looked online for master classes. What is going to help me? And I was investing in myself, but I also was investing in making sure that when I help people, that I was on the right track. And so take the time to investigate things, ask questions. I made sure that I had my LLCs paid for. I made sure that I did branding. I worked with a gentleman that I met in a master class, and he actually helped me with branding. Then I went through another company and did some branding. And so there was a lot of tools, websites, and applications out there that you can put on your phone, that you can put on your computer, that just help you get those steps taken care of. And is it a long process? Not if you discipline yourself. Sit down and get up every morning with a task list. Make sure that you take care of a few things every day to get to where you need to go. And you're going to get stuck on the way. Yes, you are. You're going to get stuck because you're going to have a lot of questions. So get a group of people in your life that have gone the direction that you want to go. And it's not hard to do that either, because even if you start talking among your friends and family, you'll find out that some of them have gone through those steps that you want to go to. And so just make sure that you talk to people, ask questions, discipline yourself, make sure that you make yourself as important as you do other people. Because, we'll stop and drop and roll for other people, but we don't do it for ourselves. And we should, because we're as important as other people too. So when you're investing in yourself, make sure that you know that you're important, that you're loved, and that people want to see you thrive. And you want to. So take that day or two to be stuck, but keep it rolling. Because if you don't keep going, you'll be in the same spot that you're in. You'll never move forward. And so make sure that you invest in yourself, set aside something to make sure it's going to buy things that you need. Your I'm a paper writer, so I love to write, but make sure you get your papers, pens, your computer. Make sure you're able to forge your website. Make sure that you can buy your LLCs, because you want to be legal and you want it to be right. And guess what? Are you going to make mistakes and fail at some things? Yes, but guess what? Keep going, because you need to keep going because you want to see your vision come true. So that's what I did for me. I just made sure I got up. I was disciplined. Believe it or not, people don't even realize that I have a back disability. And so sometimes I can't sit for those length of times. But guess what I did? I laid in the bed and I had my computer on and I just went for it. I went for it. I laid in the bed. I some of the classes, I'd laugh about it because I put on the Zoom background so they couldn't see where I was, but I had to make sure that I was getting that education and being able to participate in my own life. So I encourage you to take the leap, make yourself important, and do what your heart desires and make sure that you're taking the right steps. I wish you all well. God bless.
That's awesome. Thanks. I love how you've simplified things there, and I can see how anybody, pretty much anybody, can apply that step. Now, with that same mindset, let's dive deep and talk about the next step or the second step that they ought to take, and how perhaps we could look at how they can implement this step right now, not later on, but right now in their lives today.
Awesome. This is a easy one, but you have to really think about it. What is your next step? Do you want to do this remotely or do you want to set up an office? And with today's technology, the beauty of it is you can do so much remote. And that's what I'm doing. And so that is the way to go if you don't want the expenses of setting up a whole office or having that overhead fee. Some people have their offices in their home, but you have to think about what is it that you want. And so my next step was just sitting down wondering, how am I going to make this work? What is going to be my area expertise? And how I'm going to thrive. That was my second step because I had the first part figured out. What I did is I actually talked to my tax preparer and just saw what were the pros and cons of this second step of my business. Was I going to do it online, office? What did I need to make my, if I wanted an office, what did I need? What is it going to cost me? Is it easier to do it online? But I still needed the same tools if were in an office. I needed to make sure that I had everything that I needed. And so it's about having that community, making yourself accountable for the things that you say you're going to do. And so my tax preparer called me to make sure I was on track. Hey, have you made a decision? Because guess what? She wanted to make sure that she made a note of it for her books, what I was going to do with my business. Because like I said, I wanted it to be legal. I wanted to be accountable for the things that I said I was going to do. My husband also was saying, "Hey, what are you doing next? Do you got a class? So he kept me on point on a lot of things, and I made sure I kept myself motivated. And so that step alone only took me about 2 or 3 days to really pinpoint it how I wanted to do it, and I didn't get stuck in that part because it was easy for me to think the people that I wanted to reach, which would be the world, I needed to have online accounts. I needed to have Facebook. I needed to have YouTube channel. I needed to do all of these things. And so I would encourage you just to write this step down. What are your second steps? What are your third steps? And so you piece it together like that. And that's what I did. And it worked out beautifully for me. So I encourage you, just keep pushing, just keep pushing. Get you a good team and get you an accountability partner. Make sure that you're accountable for the things that you say you're going to do. And if you're stuck, that person can put you back on track. And so make sure you just got a good team, people. I'm just telling you, it's a beautiful thing once it all rolls out. The things that you prayed for earlier, you'll see them roll out step by step.
Wow, this is incredible. I love how you're simplifying these secrets, these systems, and these steps for everybody to apply today. Now, before we jump on to talk about the third steps, I want to talk to Bill in our audience today and anybody listening for that matter. Remember what we always talk about on this show, never to leave a place of discovery without scheduling when you're going to apply what you're learning today. The reason for that is if we don't schedule it, we will not do it. So I'm hoping that you are scheduling mentally if you're out on the run, or maybe you're driving your car, or whatever you may be doing. Just make a mental note. When are you going to apply one of the steps that you have learned today? And because it is so small or very simple, that doesn't mean it's not going to bring tremendous results. Remember, it is the small hinges on a door that swings massive doors. So it will be just one of these amazing steps we are learning today that could open incredible opportunities for you. Well, let's go back and talk about that very third step. And maybe we could talk about it from a place where, somebody has tried it and they have failed, and they're feeling like they cannot do it anymore, or they cannot start again anymore, and they're stuck. How can they get started again?
Well, yeah, that's a good one right there because third step, it took a bit out of me because it wasn't who I was working with, it was all me. I couldn't make up my mind on branding and my website. That was the one that just got me because I had so many ideas and I didn't know how it was going to pan out on a website. I drew, I went through branding, I went through design companies. Even though I had a friend that I met in the master class that helped me with branding, we still went back and forth about what I thought the design was going to look like. What did I want my website to look like? So I was working with several people. And so I definitely had to journal and keep a task list on what I said to one person, what I said to the next person, because it was specific to the job that they were doing for me. And so I got stuck several times on this, not their fault. It was all my fault because my mind was scattered. I needed to get my mind in order as to what I really wanted it to look like. And boy, am I so happy that I was working with several people because they kept me on track. Even though I was stuck a little, they kept me on track. No, this is what we discussed. And I had the notes to it. So it validated what they were saying. So it wasn't the fact there was any confusion in that area. It was just the fact that I had all these ideas that I wanted the website to look like, what tools, what I'll say is, where I wanted them to click. I'll call those tools. Where I wanted them to click to find what I was about, what I wanted them to do to notice this part. And I was also getting affiliates to be on my website. So I needed to get that in order. So it was a lot. It was really a lot. But guess what? That excitement of so many different things going on made me want to even perform better for myself. You understand what I'm saying? I just wanted to prove to myself that I can do it, that I've done it for other people. Why wouldn't I do it for myself? I really had to stop and make myself important. And so I really, that part of it was really exciting because it was a lot of tools going on at that time, a lot of flames in the fire. I'm telling you, it was so much fun. I would stay up at night because I couldn't sleep because I had so much going on in my mind, and I'd get up and write about it. And then okay, ask these questions, ask this question. And so that step right there, I think, is the beginning of you knowing that you're really getting it done and the ball is rolling. That step there is one that once you're finished with it, you will just look at yourself. And for me, I said, look at God, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't, I dreamed about it. I knew it could happen, but it happened. And so that third step, oh my gosh, you're going to be so proud of yourself. So make sure, and I can't say this enough, make sure you just keep notes. Make sure you have an awesome team, accountability. It will happen for you. So make sure that you just edge out time to do this third step because you need to see it all come together because you need to get a website, your branding. It's just wonderful. You're going to love it once you see the thoughts that are in your head transform into a website, a branding logo. You are going to just say, you're just going to look at yourself in disbelief because, when you see other people's websites, you say how beautiful, but you're going to be able to say that about yourself. How beautiful. So stick with it, my friend. It's going to come together and you're going to be so proud. I'm already proud talking to you about it, just telling you what you're going to become. So I know you're going to be awesome. Take care.
Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Thank you again for that. This is incredible. Let's talk about the tools because, in my own experience, I've discovered that there are amazing tools out there that simplify the whole process. In your experience, based on what you know and helping many people in this area, are there specific tools that you recommend that business owners can apply today? And if their website, maybe you could mention those ones so that people can go there straight away and find this content to help them become what they want to be and reach those goals here today.
Thank you for asking that question because there are several tools that you can use to build websites or get information. Of course, everybody knows about Google. Boy, I ask Google so many questions. I think Google knows that we just have a connection as if we're just friends. As I just Googled everything. I Alexa everything. I When it came to website building, you got Wix.com, that's Wix.com. You have for branding, you have like a place called Design Hill. There were so many others out there that you can choose from, but those are some that I use personally. And then I was with a company, Geek House. That's one of the companies that I use. I used Launch You. That was one of the other companies that I use. So there's several that you can use. It just depends on, how far you want to go and what you're reaching for. But I, personally know that there's a lot because when I search, there were a lot. And you just pretty much have to just pick one, call them, go online. They'll answer you back. They're pretty good about answering questions for you. uh, I didn't have any delays. Maybe if it was late in the evening, they'd get back to me the next day. But all these companies are there to help you and they're willing to help you. If you're serious about it, they will help you. And so it's about building that relationship and having a connection with them. And so I just challenge you actually to just start researching and going out there and just building your company. There's different companies out there that you can get your LLC through. I personally use Prime, and so there's others. You can file online yourself for your companies, and there's a lot of things. But I just chose to use different companies to help me to get from point A to point B. They were very generous. They were helpful. Um, I like the way that their expertise helped me to understand a lot of things questions that I didn't know to ask that they answered for me, even though I didn't never ask them those questions, they answered them. And as a business owner, one thing I can say for sure, you just need to be legal. You need to do it the right way. Don't shortcut yourself because in the end, you're going to be that winner because you will have everything, all your I's dotted and your T's crossed because you need to be able to report what you're doing to the IRS and not have any backlash. So make sure that all your dealings are in order because it's going to be worth it in the end to you and keep you out of a lot of trouble. And so just research and see what tools you want to use, what works best for you. It's all about your personal journey and you want to make it a good one.
Thank you. I'm certainly going to check out one of those tools myself. If not, my team will be checking that out, because I think tools simplify life for busy people like you and I, and I'm sure Bill in our audience will be doing the same thing. Now, moving on, I've discovered personally in my own journey as an entrepreneur that mindset plays a huge part in any area that you go into. In your opinion, having helped hundreds of people again, what sort of mindset that's to a certain degree virtually guarantees success in applying these very steps we've been talking about?
The mindset for beginner business owners at this point basically be don't be complacent and be hungry for what you want to see to come forth. Don't just sit around. Keep moving in your vision. One step at a time, you'll see it come forth. If you want to make it happen, you will make it happen. Just know that you're going to fail at some things. But guess what? You get to redo and redo until it gets right. I did that. I failed at a couple things. But to me, it wasn't failure. It was just a lesson learned. And so I was just like, okay, that didn't work. Okay, let me try something else. And so that's what I did. I just didn't just sit there and not move. I moved one step at a time towards what I wanted to see on a website, what I wanted my branding to look like. And so I just made it happen by the grace of God. I did not just sit around. And so I had accountability partners, and I knew that they weren't as well going to just let me sit there, as I'll say, and lie to myself. I'm going to do it, but I didn't do it. I'm going to do it, but I didn't do it. No, they made sure that I did it, and I made sure that I did it. I didn't become complacent. And so I was very tied down to what I wanted to see happen. It was a vision that I wanted to see come forth. And so I know that you have that same drive within you, that you want to see what you have in your mind come forth on a website. And I know that you're hungry for a change. And so just make sure that you're in alignment with what you want. Dream about it, dream big, because you're worth it. And so that's what I tell business owners. Do you want it or do you not want it? If you want it, you'll get started, you'll thrive at it, you'll encourage yourself, you'll encourage others. And so just be present for the moment for yourself. I think that's the mindset for the beginner. Just being present and going forward.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And now, as we come toward the end of our time together here, and I know we have covered a great deal of information and strategies and steps that anybody can apply today, especially Bill in the audience here today. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about how to get started and how to do this very well that you would love to share with everybody before we wrap up?
No, actually, I think you've asked me a lot of questions, and I think that we pretty much set it out, the blueprint on how to get from point A to point B. And I think with your help, my help, business owners will have a good start and an excellent finish. So I'm very grateful for you having me on your show. I'm grateful for you asking me these questions, and I'm always here to help. God bless and keep you. Take care.
Absolutely outstanding. Thank you so much for such a great interview and for your generosity in sharing what is working in your life today and what is working in other people's lives today with my audience here today. And would you share with everybody how they can connect with you? Maybe it's your website or even it's your social media, because I know there will be people in the community here that would love to learn further and can carry on from what we have started talking about here today. So please give everybody the best way to connect with you today.
Yes, our website is altogether lowercase greenlightyouth.com. And the email that you can reach me at is the digit one, greenlightyouth, altogether, at gmail.com. Again, that's one, greenlightyouth greenlightyouth@gmail.com. And the website is all lowercase greenlightyouth.com.
A great big thank you to you for working with me on this project. Now let's go and join the community. If you're not yet part of the community, click the link below and join the community so that you can help those who are in the community even further. And I know from experience that the people that keep in touch with the community end up getting clients, customers, and creating amazing deal joint venture with so many people. So if you're not yet in the community, click the link below and you will be part of the community. Once again, welcome to the family. Let's go help people. It is people like you and I that truly make the difference and truly help people live their dreams, reach their goals, and become great contributors to life that we all want to be. And again, take care. Until next time, God bless. And by the way, I nearly forgot. Remember to connect with me on LinkedIn. Somewhere along here, there is my LinkedIn details, or you can just type in Yokai Kajidore, and I'll be delighted to speak with you in there myself and refer your services to other people that we know that are in the network. Again, thanks again. I truly appreciate you and what you're about. Thank you for tuning in to Yokai Business Show. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode and have gained valuable insights and inspiration from our amazing guest. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review to help us spread the word. Also, be sure to check out our Leadership Ultimate Success Mastermind program, which is designed to help you and leaders in our community to do great things and support each other along their leadership journey. Until next time, live well, live with passion, know that the best is truly yet to come.